Is there a name that's going to get you excited for Terence Crawford to fight?
I don't know who else is out there for Crawford.
Now that he beat and dominated Canelo Alvarez, I would love to see.
I would love to get him in the ring. I will F him up.
Fight fans, welcome back.
He will beat these living out of Terence Crawford.
What we just witnessed might be the most impressive victory in boxing history.
This has been a masterful performance from Terence Crawford.
The pinnacle of professional prize fighting, summarized by an unblemished record, an unmarked face, and an undeniable 6-word statement.
You know, when you look around, you say, I'm the Canelo, you know, I'm the face of boxing now.
But it's double-edged. Was it acknowledging the perfect chef's kiss in the closing chapter? Or was it implying that the best for Terence Bud Crawford is yet to come?
I know you just conquered a great mountain, but you're so freaking hot and so good right now. Why would you walk away now?
The fantasy fights now circulate, as they so often do.
How do you feel you compare with Floyd with the resume you have now?
But why chase hypotheticals when reality shines this bright?
Can you say definitively that you will fight again?
I don't know.
Really? It's still up in the air?
Still up in the air.
Wow.
In the aftermath, the boxing world stood in agreement.
Just took him to school. That's basically it.
Like, I watched the whole thing, I'm like, that's art.
It was all Crawford. There was no question about it.
In terms of what should be next, however, not so much.
Yeah, I think he did everything in a sport that he could do.
I don't think he can do anything else that's going to top this.
He can fight maybe 2 more times, help cement that legacy, and walk away with an extra $100 million in the bank.
But now, with an 8-figure horizon and A-side status, others know it's much easier said than done.
It's like the Evel Knievel effect. Like, all right, you jumped over 3 buses. Let's see if you can do 10 buses.
History tells us that moving back down after such a significant jump up in weight is never a good idea.
I'll use Roy Jones as the example. I mean, he comes out of the fight with John Ruiz on top of the world. He's won a heavyweight title, and he's untouchable still. Comes back against Antonio Tarver, struggles at light heavyweight when he dropped all that weight. Still won, and you're like, okay, now the slide has started. Next fight, he gets knocked out, and he was never the same. So the fighters on immediate notice are those at 160 and 168.
Don't ask me about Crawford, because that ain't in my division.
That said, the very man praised for getting Crawford here in the first place has something very different on his mind.
Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168.
David El Monstro Benavidez!
Before the Crawford fight, Canelo was asked whether Benavidez would be next.
Pundits and fans still will call for David Benavidez once this fight is done. Is that a fight that you will see happening?
And while the Mexican star wasn't getting ahead of himself, Turki Al-Sheikh to his left was much more animated.
I never say no to anything. We'll see later. But I'm 100% on this fight.
In the aftermath, however, following a generational performance,
stood his ground and got his respect.
It was Crawford being pitched those exact same questions.
Would you ever entertain a fight with the Mexican monster, David
Benavidez is a big dude. You know what I mean? Not to say I won't fight him.
A step too far? Maybe. But even though a successful move to light heavyweight now has El Monstro eyeballing Bivol and Beterbiev.
I spar people a lot, yeah, so I know what happens in those sparring sessions, so yeah, I can beat him.
You think you're the guy?
I can knock him out.
Money talks, and that money could have stronger vocal cords than you think.
I don't want to make 68.
No, I know you don't. I know you don't, but could you?
I can
let's say for whatever reason, Terence wins 68.
Yeah, well, if that's yeah.
Let's not forget, it's a surname with history for Bud. The infamous weigh-in swing and 12th round stoppage of his brother Jose. And while bridges have been mended between former foes,
But a lot of people might think, Canelo's too big for Bud, but Bud's a badass motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
that night cut deep for a 23-year-old David Benavidez sat at ringside.
Now we know he's in there with the best fighter, in the world, man.
Does it motivate you too?
Yeah. And he didn't just take the loss, I took the loss too.
And now payback is a very real possibility.
And if David Benavidez come down to 68, I think he'll do him like he did his brothers.
If drama is the focus, however, it might be a different pair of brothers that get the call up.
Terence Crawford beat your friend, Errol Spence Jr.
The bad blood for this one comes from a more recent ringside feud.
But when he dropped him at one point in the fight, he turned to you. What'd he say to you? What'd you say back to him?
Oh, man.
Terence Crawford.
He just said some foul words. And But we'll get it in. Yeah.
Post-fight name drops are commonplace in boxing.
Golovkin, you are next, my friend.
But I don't think I've ever seen such a bold move mid-fight.
And said, quote, I'm going straight to the Spence fight. And then after that, I'm going to up Charlo.
He's too small.
At one point, both undisputed, this collision would have made perfect sense. But oh, how times change. Now, that woeful performance against Canelo has just been made to look a whole lot worse. And the responsibility might instead fall onto the shoulders of the older brother, Jermall, to get some get back.
He thought going up in weight, I got to get massive, I got to get big to beat Canelo. It made him slower, it made his reflexes slower.
Those body shots are slowing him down punch by punch.
Crawford, I feel like that's the same thing as that. You want to get big to try to absorb Canelo punches and all this, but that's not the Crawford that we're going to see.
A mutual opponent saw Big Charlo also beat the older Benavidez brother in 2023.
Right uppercut, right on the jaw. Benavidez walking forward on the hand speed and the combinations, beginning to break down Benavidez.
But a frustrating 18-month layoff, followed by a questionable return bout, means we're unsure if the same man who was chasing Canelo and the Mexican Monster is really still here.
Even if David loses this fight, I'll still fight him. And I should be fighting Canelo soon. And the sky's the limit. I'm the champ, like, for a reason.
But a counter right! Face first goes Williams! What a counter!
However, as Saudi and PBC relations improve, it's more likely now than ever.
I know what I'm capable of. It's not like a surprise to me. It's a surprise to y'all because y'all didn't believe me.
Just like Jermell, however, laying out a future Crawford fight, whether he won, lost, or drew against Canelo.
And after this, we'll see what we can do with Terence Crawford. After I get my era of Canelo out the way.
A complete whitewash changes everything.
They were on Team Mora saying that this fight absolutely did not need a rematch, absolutely would not be a different outcome. Canelo is old, he's got no chance, he can't beat Terence Crawford.
Is Bud Crawford someone that you want to fight again? Do you feel like you could do better in a rematch?
Canelo! Do you want to see a rematch, Canelo Crawford?
No.
Why not?
Because Crawford wins. I think Crawford wins even better next fight.
The scorecards on September 13th reflected a much closer fight than most of us saw.
The scoring was diabolical. The best, absolute best case scenario is that 8-4. Yeah. And even that didn't happen.
The older man looked fresher.
Shot got Canelo's attention.
The smaller man looked stronger.
Crawford got what he wanted.
And the man with less fights looked more experienced.
Crawford was a little quicker. But Canelo didn't have any quit, and he kept coming forward. He kept fighting. So it was a great fight. I would actually like to see it again.
I ain't stopping until I get it.
The saving grace is that Canelo still has 2 fights on his lucrative Saudi deal, so he's not riding off into the sunset just yet.
Both of them are going to fight again. So you cannot sit there and tell me that there is a more marketable fight out there for both these guys than running it back once again.
I feel great to share the ring with great fighters like him. And if we do it again, it's going to be great.
and the money Crawford would make in a rematch still outweighs everything else.
He's only going to want to fight for 20, 30, 40 million. But who is there to fight for that kind of money? I'm not sure.
It doesn't make any sense for him. I think rematch with Canelo would be the best thing for him to do.
If we're still putting legacy ahead of money, then the idea of becoming undisputed in his fourth weight class could take priority.
Undisputed middleweight champion of the world.
He made history doing that. He made history doing that, so he can, at this point, do what he want to do.
Can I tell you what I think he should do?
Yeah, tell me.
160, another title in another weight class.
That sounds good. That sounds great. We'll just see how he feels.
The middleweight belts, however, are in very deserving hands. The easiest one to snatch, on paper, should be the WBA strap from Erislandy Lara.
Erislandy, the American Dream. Down he goes, one left hand, and Lara puts them out on it. After his fight is over.
And there's another little mutual spark, because back in 2014, this Cuban helped lay out a blueprint that Crawford would follow a decade later.
Lo llevé a la escuela, lo llevé, hice lo que me dio la gana, lo golpeé cuando me quise, lo hice fallar el golpe que era lo más importante, y lució mal, en su público, lució mal. Tú vas a compararla y Floyd cuando peleó con él, ¿qué hizo Floyd con él? ¿Qué hizo Floyd?
Floyd hizo más que tú hoy.
The green belt, owned by Carlos Adames, would be another Bull versus Matador affair. And that's another fight which won't need any more fuel pouring onto it. Following some tasty sparring stories of the past, and a very hubristic pre-fight prediction.
Look at what Canelo did with Bivol, right? He couldn't hurt him at 175. So if Terence Crawford were to go up to 168, what will happen? Pretty much the same thing. He wouldn't be able to hurt Canelo the way that he hurts people in his division right now. To summarize, I think this fight is absolutely stupid.
The other two belts are in Kazakhstan, in the safe hands of a different southpaw maestro who can adapt on the fly.
Champions and the boxing superstars, where are you?
I'm ready to ride. Kazakhstan.
Till I'm crossing the line. No turning back, I'm ready to fly.
He's getting swarmed. Headshot comes in.
I'm waiting, let's fight. I'm the most awarded boxer. I am the middleweight king.
He's able to find offense in between the eye of the storm.
The risk versus reward paradigm here, however, means that the toughest test would also be the least financially viable.
It's not really a marquee fight like the Canelo fight was. Like, that had a huge reward at the end of it.
Do you call you think it's overrated?
Who? Janabek. I really wouldn't say Janabek is unproven, but he really hasn't fought elite.
And what do you think about the potential of how they'd match up?
Anybody you put Terence in there with, he gonna dominate. He just have that great mind.
Ironically, a division below that are an assortment of smaller men, once considered too big for Bud.
At 168 is not a natural 168 fighter.
You know which fight I would love to see?
Who?
Crawford and
Ortiz Jr.
Oh yeah, that'd be. I got Virgil all day on that one.
That 2024 Madrimov performance just gained a ton more respect. And 6 months later, the Uzbek would give Virgil Ortiz the exact same treat.
He's done enough here, Madrimov.
Crawford is a sharper, bigger puncher than Virgil, but as far as strength, Virgil is a strong guy.
Virgil Ortiz Jr. going through the combinations here.
Virgil's one of those guys that can show you better than he can tell you.
Crawford is possibly the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world, definitely top 2. I'm looking at you, bud. I'm looking at you.
Do you believe at 22 years old, you're ready for a Terence Crawford?
I don't care if I'm ready or not. I want that fight.
And if he shows us by becoming the dominant name in the division, a 160 meet in the middle against Crawford would be fireworks.
Crawford just bit off a little more than he can chew, but if he can chew it and he beats him, which I think he can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just thinking Canelo wins. But if he does, he will be my #1 fighter of all time.
The main man to derail those plans, however, has just been in Lake Tahoe downloading some very important data.
It's fun, sparring Canelo. Trying to pick his brain. He got I think he like 70 fights in. So I was picking his brain, having fun, and sharpening my tools,
Aligned with Crawford for some time now.
What happens if Boots fights Bud?
I think it's a mirroring fight. I think both guys have so many of the same attributes.
Terence Crawford against Jaron Ennis, for me, is the best fight in American boxing.
Only Ennis and a few fortunate onlookers know how those spars really went.
He said that at some point, Boots didn't know how to handle some stuff of Canelo, for his perception.
And likewise, whether or not the Canelo dismantling looked as intimidating to them as it did to us.
I know you saw him sparring with Boots. Give me your initial response to that.
That don't mean shit, man. That don't mean shit. Boots ain't no Crawford.
Not only is he not backing up from Canelo's power, but he may be doing more damage with his own in these exchanges.
What does this performance prove about the Ennis sparring? You guys were largely silent.
I told you it don't make no difference. Didn't I say it? I said that don't mean shit, because he's no Bud Crawford.
Canelo is looking to be friends, and Crawford is not looking to be friends.
I was in there tonight watching him thinking, he could probably, because he carried 168 so well, he could probably fight a light heavyweight,
Yeah, are you saying that he should go after Bivol?
I'm not joking. I think he can handle himself.
A light heavyweight finale for Crawford might be fantasy land.
That's definitely too far, even for somebody like Terence Crawford.
But the idea of Bivol dropping down, maybe not so much.
He is a 168 pounder. He moved up in weight for the opportunities at light heavy, if you'll recall.
The Russian was constantly referenced during the Canelo fight as a shock reminder of just how long Crawford's reach is. And honestly, it's a purist dream because the skills aren't far off either.
That was a beautiful counter right hand. The movement, the lead hand had been very impressive.
Fundamentally, Dimitri's slightly more polished, but a little less instinctive and versatile.
What advice would you give him on how to beat Canelo if they were to fight?
I will not advise him because he knows already what to do,
But hey, crazier things have certainly happened within the sweet science. And don't shut out the winner of an Mbili-Martinez rematch, a fight that made a fantastic impression on the September undercard.
Short left is there from Mbili, and now an uppercut from Martinez.
Oh, big shot from Mbili, a right hook.
Because the winner there, if it happens, will be switching their attention towards Crawford in a heartbeat.
You got to work hard, especially when you're at the top, because everybody gunning from you. Everybody working extremely hard to dethrone you.
A lot of people say they want it, but that was an impressive beatdown.
You said I'm gonna paint a masterpiece. You told me that. You said I'm gonna paint a masterpiece. That's what that was.
So the coming months are going to show us who really wants it against the new face of boxing.
I don't see any fighter as good as him or capable of beating him. And I don't know that weight is going to change that.